What would you do if you saw someone hurt on the side of the road? Would you help them, or walk right by? Today we're going to hear an amazing story that Jesus told, and it might just change the way you think about being kind. One day, a very smart man came to Jesus with a big question. "Teacher," he asked, "what must I do to live forever with God?" Jesus smiled and asked him, "What does God's law say?" The man answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "That's right," said Jesus. "Do this, and you will live." But the man wanted to look smart, so he asked another question. "But Jesus, who exactly is my neighbor?" And that's when Jesus told one of the most famous stories ever. Once upon a time, a man was traveling from the big city of Jerusalem down to a town called Jericho. The road was long, dusty, and very, very dangerous. It twisted through rocky mountains where robbers liked to hide. Suddenly, robbers jumped out from behind the rocks. They grabbed the man, took everything he had, his money, his coat, even his shoes. Then they hurt him badly and left him lying on the side of the road. The poor man couldn't even move. He needed help. "Fast, please," he whispered. "Someone help me." Before long, someone came walking down that same road. It was a priest, a man who worked in God's temple. Surely he would help. The priest saw the man lying there, bleeding and hurt. But do you know what he did? He crossed to the other side of the road and kept walking. He didn't even stop to say, "Are you okay?" Can you believe it? The hurt man's heart sank as he watched the priest disappear down the road. Maybe the next person will help me, he hoped. Soon another man came along. This was a Levite, another important person who helped at God's temple. The Levite walked a little closer. He even looked at the hurt man. But then, can you guess what happened? He also crossed to the other side and walked right past. The poor man felt so alone. Two people who were supposed to love God had just ignored him. Would anyone help? Then clip-clop, someone else was coming down the road. This time, it was a Samaritan. Now here's something important. Jewish people and Samaritans did not get along. They didn't like each other at all. So you might think this man would definitely walk right by. Right? But no. When the Samaritan saw the hurt man, his heart was filled with compassion. He jumped off his donkey and ran to help. "Don't worry, friend," he said softly. "I'm going to take care of you." He cleaned the man's wounds with oil and wine. He wrapped them carefully with bandages. He was so gentle and kind. Then he lifted the hurt man onto his own donkey and walked beside him all the way to an inn, a place where travelers could rest. At the inn, the Samaritan tucked the man into a warm bed and took care of him all night long. The next morning, the Samaritan had to leave. But before he went, he gave the innkeeper some money. "Please take care of him," he said. "If you spend more than this, I'll pay you back when I return." And with that, the kind Samaritan continued on his journey. Jesus finished the story and looked at the man who had asked the question. "Now," said Jesus, "which of these three men was a neighbor to the man who was hurt?" The man answered, "The one who showed him kindness and helped him." Visual. Jesus smiling warmly. Jesus nodded and said, "Go and do the same." And that's the lesson for us today, Kingdom kids. A neighbor isn't just someone who lives next door. A neighbor is anyone who needs our help.